What's good, everybody? It's the Cloud with Cap Show. As time goes on, the haters continue for LeBron James. They continue to increase. They continue to hate. They continue to call him soft. They continue to say he's a pussy. But at the end of the day, since LeBron James came into the league back in 2003, he's been balling. He hasn't had one bad season. And yes, I'll give you guys credit. He's had one bad finals performance back in 2011 against the Dallas Mavericks. I will say, yes, 100%, he choked. But that's what led LeBron to LeBron right now. I mean, LeBron is great. He's got 4 titles. I mean, he's in his 18th season in the NBA, bro. And he's been dominating ever since. And he hasn't been slowing down. I understand he's got an ankle injury right now. You know, that's fine. That's part of the game. But to me, if I'm the Lakers right now, I rest LeBron and AD until the playoffs. I mean, even if you are 8th seed, if you're LA, you're still going to win the West. You're going to win it all. We've seen this movie before. And if I was a sports bet at all, I would go the Lakers. And I know a lot of people are like, hold up, Cap. You know, pump the brakes here. What about what's happening in Brooklyn right now? And I get that, you know, and to me to say, I'm blaming everyone in Brooklyn because of that, you know, honestly, you know, we could say that LeBron James did start the trade movement because when we go back, when he got traded to the Miami Heat, when LeBron chose to go to the Miami, you know, that's kind of when people were like, you know what, dude, I'm going to go too. I want to try it out. You know, I want to go to the better team, and I think LeBron really eventually opened that door to where now players are like, all right, let's join the best team. To whereas the 80s and 90s when Bird, Magic, MJ, those cats, Isaiah Thomas, they were like, dude, we're not going to join the team. We're going to compete against you and beat you. That's how it was back in the day, but now it's a different era where, you know, we're going to join the best team possible and try to win a ring. For instance, like the Brooklyn Nets. But I will say that LeBron James did start this movement 100% ever since he went to the Miami. But, you know, LeBron did come back and win a title in Cleveland, which was great, right? Which was amazing to me. But looking at the NBA right now, I've said it before, it's really soft. It's a lot softer than it used to be, right? We could say majority of the players today, in today's game in 2021, they will not be able to play in the 80s and 90s. It's just too rough for them. It really is. For instance, like I know a lot of people love James Harden. Yes, he's a great scorer. I get that. You know, in the NBA today, we have to understand the defensive level of play isn't what it was in the 80s and 90s. Yes, partly because they would foul harder. Yes, because they would play harder. To whereas nowadays, it's like, you know, my ability and skill is going to prevail me instead of hard work. And to me, you know, and I get a lot of negative feedback with dealing with James Harden. I get that. He's a great scorer. But, you know, James Harden, he plays no defense. Absolutely no defense. So to me, to win a championship, you got to play defense. He played no defense in Oklahoma City, you know, back when LeBron played him in the NBA Finals. Okay, so, you know, the defense wins, and James Harden has no defense. KD, he's hurt. He will be back. KD and LeBron, I'd love to see that in the finals matchup this year. That would be great. And then, obviously, they added Blake Griffin as well. For Blake Griffin, I don't blame Blake Griffin at all. I mean, I'm in Detroit. They suck. Their ass. You know, I'm out of there. I would have left too if I'm Blake Griffin. And then, obviously, Kyrie, like I said, one of the best ball handlers. Obviously, if not the best in the game. Him and Chris Paul right now are the best ball handlers in the game, in my opinion. You know, but overall, I would still give the notch to Allen Iverson because he paved the way. He paved the way for guys like Kyrie right now. You know, even CP3. You know, CP3's been in the league for so long, and yet CP3 is one of the smartest point guards I've ever seen play the game. CP3 is, and I'm telling you what, he just knows the floor. He is a floor general. He sees the floor. He makes his teammates better. That's what makes CP3 such a great point guard, and I think 100% CP3 will be in the Hall of Fame. I understand he does have a championship right now. Not yet. It's never too late, but obviously the Brooklyn Nets, they're the team to beat out east. No doubt about it. Kyrie and KD, they've been missing some games, but to me, dealing with Kyrie, I wouldn't be surprised if Kyrie's out of the league in a couple years. No, not because he's not skilled enough, because I feel like mentally he is not there. I don't. I feel like Kyrie's on a different level of thinking right now, and I think it's really about different types of views, and it's really not about basketball. So I think, you know, Kyrie mentally is not in basketball, in the basketball brain right now. He's not. I think it's completely to the left. So, you know, dealing with Kyrie, I wouldn't be surprised if he retires in the next couple of years, but Kyrie's talent, it's out of the roof. You can't teach some of the things that Kyrie does. He has a string when he's handling the ball. Some of those things you can't teach. So to me, Kyrie, one of the best point guards as well, no doubt. But, Brooklyn Nets are going to be great. We're hearing speculations that LeBron James wants Steph Curry to come to Los Angeles. That would be insane. We can say, if this does happen this offseason, I still believe that the Lakers will win an NBA championship. AD will be healthy. Understand he's dealing with the Achilles injury. He will be back before the playoffs, if not as the playoff starts. But to me, with LeBron, if Steph Curry really goes to LA, it's over. It's over. We can say right now that LeBron James will pass 6 rings. He will pass MJ in that category of rings, so to speak. Now, there will be another debate where, let's say LeBron James does get 7 rings overall. He gets 1 more than MJ, but still, a lot of people are still going to choose MJ. Here's why. Because MJ stayed on the same team. He never left. Yes, I get it. He left towards the end of his career, out of his prime with Washington Wizards. Besides that point, but I'm saying in his prime years, when the competition was at its highest at the time, to me, Michael Jordan never left. He never left to where we could say LeBron James left to a better team. But we could also say on the flip side that LeBron James 2017, who was their other good players besides LeBron? Are we going to say Ilgauskas? Who else? Delonte West? These are role players. He essentially took a role player team to the NBA Finals, obviously lost. Then after LeBron James left Cleveland, then what happened in Cleveland? They won like 20 games a season or something. Maybe even less than that. So to me, LeBron James, one of the most valuable players we've ever seen play the game of basketball. And I can vouch for it right now. LeBron James is the most gifted athlete we've ever seen. 6'8", 6'9", over 250, built like a football player, can jump, can run. Those things you cannot teach, man. And LeBron is just gifted with that. And I feel like society, when so many people are hating on LeBron, it's just like, why are we taking LeBron James for granted? We're never going to see an athlete like LeBron James in our lifetime. Maybe in 200 years from now, they might be able to see him for sure. But right now, dude, they will not be able to. No, there's no way. LeBron James is just that much better than everybody right now in the NBA. Now, to where it's going to GOAT status, I'll give it up to MJ right now. No doubt about it. MJ is one of the best, if not the GOAT. He's my GOAT right now, MJ, obviously, but LeBron James is still playing. LeBron James is 36 and still in his prime. I don't see LeBron James slowing down at all. And a lot of people would say, well, a little bit from his 06, 07 season all the way up to right now. I get that. Okay, there is some a little slower down, but he can still bang on anybody. He can still score whatever LeBron James wants to score. How can you stop that when somebody wants to score whenever? He makes his teammates better. He's a better passer than most passers. He's a better rebounder. He makes his teammates better. Okay? So LeBron, dude, he's just on a different planet. He really is. And what the Lakers are doing right now without LeBron, it's evident. They're 4-6 without LeBron right now. So let that ring a bell. LeBron James valuable. He's so valuable, dude. LeBron James, when it's all said and done, he will become the richest athlete. I think he will pass MJ in that category of wealth. But to me, overall, looking at MJ, we can't say LeBron James is better than MJ. We just cannot do it right now because it would just be too ignorant to do that, right? To say that LeBron James is better than MJ right now because we can't. Simply because LeBron James is still playing in the NBA. It'd be ignorant. LeBron James could have went to the NFL, to whereas MJ, he did go play baseball for a little bit, not the big leagues, but he still made it. But to me, LeBron James right now, he's the greatest basketball player on planet Earth. He has been for the past 10 years, over a decade. LeBron has been dominating over a decade, dude. Over a decade. That's crazy, dude. But I'm telling you what, the Lakers, when the playoffs matchups start to add up, I definitely got the Lakers out west, no doubt. And then obviously the Brooklyn Nets are definitely favored out east. You got Milwaukee, but to me, Boston, they're looking iffy right now, really shaky. But to me, Brooklyn Nets, they got like an all-star lineup. Blake Griffin, Kyrie, KD, James Harden. It's kind of unfair, right? But I still think the Lakers can beat them. I'm not confident in James Harden's defense. Okay, I get that. He can score 30 a night. Anybody really nowadays in the NBA can drop 30 on any given night. Am I wrong on that? Can you guys agree with me on that? That really anybody can drop 30. Okay, maybe even 40 now. The defense is softened up. The calls are more soft. It's just opportunities to score a lot of points in the NBA. That's just how it is right now. It's a lot softer. But to me, what the Lakers have done, the past couple weeks, signing Andre Drummond, to me, that was the difference maker. We're talking double-double here. When AD comes back from his Achilles, Andre Drummond, AD, then you got LeBron. I mean, dude, it's going to be, I feel like they could still add a couple tweaks here and there. But to me, I'm telling you what, LeBron James seen it all. He was underdogs a lot of the times in the NBA Finals, including the 2016 NBA Finals when they played Golden State, when they were down 3-1. And he's the only team to come back from a 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals and win. The only team to ever do it. And that's the Cleveland Cavaliers of 2016 because of LeBron James. And to me, in going back to the Brooklyn Nets, dealing with Kyrie, to me, I really can't believe Kyrie would not want to play with LeBron. That just sounds ignorant to me. It really does. We're going to see some offseason moves once LA repeats. And I've said it before and I said it again, LA will repeat. I think they can even three-peat. If they really do get Steph Curry this offseason, that's it. It's a wrap. LeBron and Steph Curry and Anthony Davis, dude, it's over. It's over. The NBA will be over the next 5 to 10 years. I would say at least 5 years. I mean, LeBron James is still in his prime. He's 36. It's crazy what he does to treat his body right, to eat the right foods, to be healthy, to recover quicker. I mean, look at it. It's evident. And a lot of people are like, well, Cappy's hurt right now. I get that. He's been in 18 years in the NBA. You're bound to get a couple, injuries here and there. Let's be honest here. But we cannot just disagree with greatness, dude. We're taking LeBron James for granted. And a lot of people say, why is there a debate between MJ and LeBron? Why not, dude? LeBron James, dude, it's crazy. And LeBron James is filming Space Jam 2. I cannot wait to watch that. Obviously, I watched the original one with Michael Jordan. That was one of my favorite movies, dude. I love that movie. It was great. And now LeBron's doing it. It's just kind of like, man, LeBron's like filling in the steps, right? Obviously, we could say MJ was more clutch than LeBron, but actually, when we look to it, yes, I get it. Early in LeBron's career, he had some questionable calls, right? He looked to pass, and he still does that even to this day. That's what LeBron James was. He always looked to pass sometimes. If he's double teamed, look for the open man to hit the shot. Okay, make his teammates better. To whereas MJ, he wanted the game-winning shot. Okay, not necessarily LeBron always did, right? We could go back to the finals, back in 2013 against San Antonio in Game 6, where Chris Bosh made a crazy rebound, passed it off to Ray Allen. Ray Allen hit that three. And a lot of people are saying, Cap, Ray Allen arguably saved LeBron James' legacy. I mean, I can't really disagree with that. Let's say Ray Allen misses that, San Antonio gets a rebound, it's over. We might not even be talking about this right now. But, history, dude, I'm telling you what, LeBron, dude, he's one of the best to ever do it. And I know a lot of people already have LeBron James in front of MJ right now on any given time, but that's crazy, right? That's crazy talk. I still think MJ's the GOAT. But right now, the best player in the NBA is LeBron. He has been, like I said, over a decade. He's been doing it for so long, and he's continuing to do it. And a lot of people are like, what about Kevin Durant? Kevin Durant, ever since he left OKC, I feel like Kevin Durant is not the same player as he used to be. He's really not. I don't see the hunger in it. I don't. Yes, I see the skill-wise, for sure. He can still shoot. He can still score whenever. But I just feel like, on the defensive side, just the game of basketball, I feel like there's just, I don't see the love that I used to see back when he was with OKC with Russell Westbrook. Now he's with Kyrie in a different situation. I get it. He's got his old homie, James Harden, there. But to me, I feel like James Harden, he's a cupcake, dude. He's soft. If you get him roughed up, he complains. And we could say that about LeBron, too. We could say he complains, but to me, James Harden, it's just like, come on, man. If we put James Harden back in the 80s and 90s against Dennis Rodman and those boys, what do you think James Harden's going to do? He's going to be crying. He's going to be crying in there. He's a cupcake, dude. Put a good defender on James Harden. He has a couple of moves. He's about 3 patented moves. Obviously, the step back, the crossover. Okay, those are his 2 main moves. And he always goes to his left most of the time. So if you're a good defender, force him on his weak side. Okay, make him shoot where he's not comfortable, right? But the NBA's changed so much, dude. It has. So when people are averaging 30 a night, it's like, that's expected now. This is the NBA today. It's soft, dude. It's really soft. So when people are going off for 50 and 60, it's like, Well, dude, Kobe and those guys, they were doing it back in the early 2000s, where the game was a little bit different. We could say that. Back in 2000, even 2003 and 4, all the way up to now, 2021, present day, the game is so much different, dude. It's like you can't even hand check anymore. It's like if you put a hand up and you hit them, oh, it's a foul, automatic. And it's like, come on, man. I just feel like it's really soft now. It's changed so much. It's going to be interesting to see what the NBA is going to be like in 2030. Same thing with different sports like the NFL. It's softened up now. You can't really hit head-to-head anymore, where 20 years ago, you could do that. That's a perfect shot. It's like in the NFL now that quarterbacks are playing two-hand touch now. It's like you can't even wrap the quarterback up without getting a flag, a penalty. It's like, come on. Same thing with the NBA. You can't really get roughed up. If you end up, yelling at each other, even a little push, that's an automatic tech, to where back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, dude, that was a play on. You know what I'm saying? So there's a big difference, right, from the NBA today all the way back then. But, obviously the talent-wise, we're starting to see more talent come in, right? But the best talent, obviously, is LeBron. It's LeBron, dude. He's the most gifted athlete we've ever seen, dude. Ever. I'm talking ever, dude. It won't be matched. It really won't. While we exist, there might be another crazy athlete in the next, 50 years, maybe even 100, or even over 100 years from now. But to me, overall, looking at LeBron James, we're really discarding his greatness. We are. It's just like we're taking it for granted. We're like, you know what? It's LeBron. Screw LeBron. He's a pussy. He flops all the time. We hate him. But it makes sense. So many people hate him. Why? Why do so many people hate LeBron? Is it because he's got 4 NBA titles? If we really were to say who the most valuable players in the NBA, it would be LeBron James in at least the past 10 years. LeBron James should have at least 10 MVPs right now. But, the NBA, they're tired of giving the MVP to LeBron, so they wanted to switch. But, we could say arguably every single season, maybe a couple here and there, but every season we could say LeBron James is the MVP of the NBA every time. Every single time. But to me, I'm sticking to the script. I'm taking the Lakers to win the championship yet again this year. A repeat. Anthony Davis will be back healthier than ever, and LeBron James will be back. And obviously, I want to see the Nets versus the Lakers in the NBA Finals, baby. Let's go!